Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we look at the latest comics and other media featuring the Transformers. In this episode, we are returning to the Energon Universe as we review Scarlett number 5. Today is Friday, November 1st, 2024, and this is episode 414 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that's ready to trust our friends and jump headfirst into danger. I'm your host, Jeremy, aka Yakko, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team of Tar, aka Apollo.
Hello, everyone. Let's talk Transformers.
All right. So we start off the show like we do every week by thanking our Donatreons, who are the awesome people that support our show. And you can become one of them by going to transmissionspodcast.com/support. And by joining our Donatreon team, you can get some awesome stuff like the exclusive show We Like Big Bot. This is a show that Daryl and Dr. Pants do where they talk about a character that has big bots in their collection and they show off some of the different versions of the toys of that character. And this is exclusive to our Donatreons and it's available on our Patreon page. We also have our live play RPG show, Empire of Rust. The bonus uncut episode of episode 127, Rake Us to Our Leader, is available now for Donatreons. This has everything left on the cutting room floor, off of the floor. And then the regular episode the regular version of episode 127 is going to be available November 4th at transmissionspodcast.com/Rust. And then we also still have copies of our Transformers number 1 exclusive cover by EJ Sue. And if you are at TFCon Baltimore this weekend, you can go to the Distortion Productions table in the dealer room, and they will have some copies there. Tell Jimmers I said hi. I miss them. And also, if you see Daryl and Charles at the show, they might have some too. But we know that Jimmers is going to have some at the Distortion Productions table. So check that out. And then always you can go to transmissionspodcast.com/comic and pick one up if you're not going to be at TF. And then I am this is our October code for toyhacks.com. It doesn't work anymore, but if you go to toyhacks.com, I'm not sure if we have a code yet. If we do, this graphic will be replaced by the real one, but we are recording this before we find out. So they are likely going to be having Black Friday. That's opposite. Black Friday deals and sales later this month, which will likely be better than our 15% off code. But this might be completely edited out if I find out differently. But just go to toyhacks.com. They're awesome. They will have labels you can use on all of your figures, both old and new. They make your figures look great. So just check them out. Even if we don't have a code to use, they're still awesome. And we want to thank them for supporting Transmissions. And I think that is all of the promo stuff. So let's get into our comic review. And we are reviewing Scarlett number 5. This is the final issue of the Scarlett miniseries. It's written by Kelly Thompson, art by Marco Ferrari, colors by Lee Loffridge, letters by Russ Wooten, and the editor is Ben Abernathy. The story starts off in the Sato 3 building on the 48th floor, where Scarlett is watching as Storm Shadow unsheathes a glowing blade, the Sword of Life. One of the remaining guardians of the sword tell him that the sword wasn't for him, but with a quick slash, cutting both the man's sword and himself in half, Storm Shadow disagrees, saying that it's been making its way to him since he was born. Scarlett thinks to herself that the Sword of Life might be the wrong name for this blade, as Jinx tells Storm Shadow that it's time for them to leave before Cobra arrives. But at that moment, the spotlight is lit from a nearby helicopter, and they see that in the open side of the chopper, a masked soldier has a rocket launcher and fires it at the three of them. Jinx and Scarlet take cover while Storm Shadow stands firm, wielding the Sword of Life against the missile. Scarlet digs herself out of the rubble, and Storm Shadow, seemingly not injured, quiets her and points out the Cobra soldiers searching the area. Jinx catches up to them and suggests a quick exit, but they only have two parachutes. Storm Shadow takes one, and Scarlet figures that she's the one that doesn't get one. But Storm Shadow says that they should be fine sharing the last one. Nearby, Cobra soldiers report in to Cobra Commander that they haven't found anyone or the weapon that he was searching for. The Cobra Commander detects Energon coming from nearby, and he opens fire in that area, hitting some of the destroyed signage near them and seemingly Scarlet's shoulder, as Jinx was just about to clip her into the parachute. Storm Shadow takes his exit off the building, and then Scarlet shoves Jinx off, and then she closes her eyes and puts her faith in her friend to save her life as she jumps herself. The two grab each other midair, and Jinx just has time to pull the ripcord and they land safely. Storm Shadow has landed nearby, and he tells them to meet up at location 3 in 3 hours. Then he disappears into the city. Scarlet and Jinx split up and do the same, and Scarlet grabs some clothes from a nearby store to make her look like just a random tourist. She makes her way to a bar in Tokyo and meets up with Snowjob. She passes the burn bag that she got from Jinx, but he's confused. This isn't going to be an evac mission. She says that she can't leave Jinx behind. She knows that if she doesn't go back, there's not going to be a next time for someone to get into the clan, and she needs to go back now because she's earned her place in the Arashikage. So if she has any hopes of saving Jinx, she must stay with them. He curses because he knows that she's right, but he tells her when they're ready to leave, let him know, and he will get her out. Later, outside of Tokyo, Scarlet meets up with Storm Shadow and Jinx to board a helicopter and return to the Arashikage stronghold. Storm Shadow presents the Sword of Life to Hardmaster, who accepts it, but then he returns it to Storm Shadow, saying that they're entering a new phase of the Arashikage. Raising the Sword of Life over his head, Storm Shadow yells the future of the Arashikage as it crackles with lightning. As the assembled ninja all yell their clan's name, Scarlet looks worried, but Jinx signals for her to stay cool. The end. So that is the Scarlet miniseries, and uh, clear that the Sword of Life is Energon infused, and we'll see where this goes in future stories. But um, overall, I think I was happy with the story told over the 5 issues, but this wrap up, you do see kind of the power of this blade, but also the lightning stuff at the end. I'm wondering how, like, what the true powers of this are and what the formation of the blade was. It gives me a lot more questions, but I I really like this a lot more than the Destro miniseries. I feel like the spy story is, I love spy stories, and I feel like this did that side well. I like the Storm Shadow stuff and really kind of subverting what we are used to with Scarlet and Jinx both being, seemingly, you know, on the side of the bad guys here. I mean, obviously they're both um, just kind of playing a role, but just having at the formation of GI Joe, they're over here with this other group. That's really interesting. Art wise, I felt was a little stronger than the previous issues. I liked it. One of our complaints, well, I guess one of Daryl's complaints, I think, was some of the more anime esque things where you'd see like the little beady eyes, like kind of on someone's face rather than like a fully detailed face. But this one I felt like was more detailed overall, and um, I could tell what was going on. I just thought it looked really good. So overall, I think this was a really enjoyable book. Um, Char. What were your thoughts on the book and then the series as a whole?
Um, I really liked this book. Like I thought the artwork was really good. I mean, I don't have a problem with like manga style artwork, so like I'm fine with that, but this to me felt more like a like American
Mhm.
style comic. Um, with the artwork. Um and I thought it was the right balance of action and plot. I thought it was really cool. There was a lot of, there's explosions, action, you know, shows them in Japan. Um, I thought it really felt really, really good. Like I liked it. Yeah, it's really interesting with the Rashikage, storm the group Storm Shadow, like what's gonna happen with them. So, and yeah, with them having that Energon sword, yeah, that's gonna be very interesting to see how that ties back into the Energon universe.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I'll be honest, I haven't really read the other issues.
Oh,
I
I'm
forgot to
sorry.
tell
I
you
thought you had.
that.
I would have given you the
No,
other ones.
no, it's okay. Like this is the one series I haven't been buying. Like I've been buying most of the Energon universe, but I skipped this one. But I liked it. I'd be curious to read the rest. But I do like the thoughtfulness. You mentioned this, I think, before the show, like the thoughtfulness of the Energon universe. I do appreciate that you can tell that this is planned and that it's not some sort of like last minute thing that they're trying to like cram together to make it work.
Mhm.
There is intention in these books, there is thoughtfulness put into these books, and I really appreciate that as a reader. Um, yeah, like, and I'm just looking forward to seeing more Energon Universe stuff. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Cool. And yeah, one other thing that I'm one other question I guess it leaves me with is like, in the show, Storm Shadow was with Cobra,
Yeah.
and here he's obviously not.
Hmm.
So where this is this going to line up with the show with him joining Cobra at some point, or are they going to stay kind of separately and still against? But
Hmm.
also, when the Snake Eyes going to come into the picture? Because Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow have a history. Scarlet and Snake Eyes have a history.
Yeah.
I'm That's what I'm really looking forward to, and it wouldn't surprise me if one of those ninja in the clan is Snake Eyes, and
Yeah.
we just he's not been introduced yet. Um,
Y- Yeah, you bring up a lot of good points, Jeremy. It's really interesting to see if the characters will align with what, was done in the original.
yeah.
So,
And before we go, we have some good comments from Alex in the chat. He says that the art worked to serve the story, with the movement, splash paces, and dialogue, and then where it may have changed, it pushed the focus on the writing, where the script called for action and it put the focus on the art and the ink. I think
mhm,
that's probably it's really good. I mean, Kelly Thompson as a writer is a really good writer. I really like her work.
mhm,
So I think she knows where to tell the artist, this is what I want, go to
mhm,
town. And then also trust that the artist is like, this is more dialogue heavy, and, you know, the art can be scaled back a bit. So I felt like they worked really well together. And, we're looking forward to, at least I'm looking forward to G.I. Joe coming out in a few weeks. I know Daryl's not, but, you know, it- it's kind of the last key in this whole Energon universe thing, is that, or the last puzzle piece to put in there is a fully formed G.I. Joe book.
Yeah.
So, and Alex mentions here again that maybe in a few months after G.I. Joe comes out, we might get a Snake Eyes miniseries.
Mhm.
And I can see that. I mean, Snake Eyes is a character that sells, much like um, we have, like say on Marvel, you do a Wolverine series, it's gonna
Yeah,
sell. You do a Batman series on DC, it's gonna sell. You put out a Snake Eyes series, it's gonna sell. So
exactly.
the like you said, this is really planned out. I can see them, like uh, picking. They're like, okay, the books are selling really good. Put in this, like the GI Joe here, and it's gonna boost sales for everything.
Yeah.
It's made a bunch of sales as well. But then Storm Shadow here boost sales. I think they're being really smart about it. So
Mhm.
looking forward to seeing where this goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, this is cool.
All right. Well, I think that is alt mode this week. It's a little shorter. That happens when we have fewer than um, the normal number of hosts, but I feel like it's good discussion. Um, we're getting back into the comics. We have a backlog now of a couple, and then like I said, GI Joe's coming out. That's going to also be adding to the backlog. But looking forward to getting back into it, and we got another week of um, just without Daryl and Charles. So uh, maybe we can get Daryl to complain about this book, but probably not. Anyway, before we go, we want to thank our masterpiece donatrions. So thank you, John Forks, Loving Good, Demon Tech 82, and Steve C. You guys donate at the highest level, so we shout out every episode. Excuse me. And then also thank you, Char, for coming on and guesting with me this week.
You're welcome.
Really,
Happy to be here.
apparently, Siri thought that I was talking to her. Yeah. So yeah, thanks. It's been fun. And where can people find you online?
Oh, yeah. So you can find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram at Robo Apollo. I have been actually drawing a lot more artwork recently, thanks to TF1 re-inspiring me and many other Transformers fans. And I do have commissions open, so if that's something you're interested in, let me know. Um, I'm also on the Transmissions Discord, which is transmissionspodcast.com / Discord. That's how you
Yep.
can join that group. And that's a really fun place to hang out if you want to just not be commenting on social media and actually
Yeah,
form friendships and connections on there. There is a Wednesday night unofficial hangout that happens. So that's a really cool thing to be a part of. I'm occasionally on there, but it's typically DJ Ronan and a Wolfwood are regulars on that. So, and they're members of the Discord. So, um,
that's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, and great place to just we have channels in there for all the different things. You don't have to be a Donatreon to be in the Discord. Just come and join it. And DJ Ronan is saying that this Wednesday will be Devi Talk. So if you want to talk about that Studio Series Devastator, come join them.
Yes.
But anyway, that is it for Alt Mode this week. So thanks for watching or listening, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.